What is up, guys? It is your boy Brock. We're talking sports. I'm with my co-host Zach here. Um, it has been a while since we have done a podcast, but we are back. And first, we have college sports. And in college, this just came in: Michigan State and Maryland canceled due to COVID. Um, Another unfortunate thing for the Big Ten here, because they can't really postpone anything because of the way that they set uh, their schedule up. But yeah, this just stinks for the Big Ten with the players and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want your game to be canceled, but at the same time, if you have a 53-man roster and say 10 of those guys test positive, you can't start them. Or you can't start their backups get tested positive or something like that. Then that just is a mess, and you don't want that. So it's better to cancel the game and not play at all than cancel the game, postpone the game, play again, and get the other team at risk. So
Yeah, and some other postponements here. We have Wake Forest and Duke postponed. Well, actually canceled due to COVID, and then Houston and SMU postponed over COVID, and Louisiana and Central Arkansas canceled over COVID. It's just unfortunate to see these things, but I mean, it is what it is. Um, but yeah, it's kind of hard to see this and stuff, but we all knew that it would happen, and that's the way that it is here. And now we're gonna go over to basketball. Michigan State. This was actually like 1 to 2 weeks ago, but Michigan State basketball coach Tom Izzo tested positive for the virus. I think he's recovered now. It's been about 2 weeks since he announced that. Still, sad thing to hear about that. And a happy thing for Michigan is Michigan basketball has the #1 recruiting class in the nation. I love this. They
of
got
course you're a Michigan fan.
Yes, they got a top 10 recruiter, Moussa Diabate. He's from France, but he's a top 10 player in recruiting, and that was a good one. And then this one, Caleb Houston got recruited to Michigan. He is a big 5-star recruit as well. I'm really excited to see Michigan these next couple years for basketball. It's going to be pretty fun. And my suggestion to Michigan is make Juwan Howard the football recruiter as well, because what he has done and the amount of time that he has been here is absolutely incredible. He's making Michigan basketball on the map, and it is very fun to see there. Uh, but yeah, that was pretty fun to see. And Wichita State basketball coach Greg Marshall has parted ways with Wichita State. It's either, I think it's over an incident of some sort. I haven't looked up on that, but Greg Marshall, when Wichita State was in the Missouri Valley Conference, I still can't believe this. When Bradley played them, Wichita State was ranked at this time, I do believe, and the game was at Carver Arena. This was a while ago, but I remember this vividly. Bradley beat them, and the students stormed the court and stuff. So we were there for a while, just watching it unfold. And then we see Greg Marshall, and he's walking up the stands. So he must have like family or something. And I was with my grandparents at the time, and they stopped him, and we got to talk to him. And he said, "Congratulations with your team. They played really good against us." And so yeah, we got to talk to Greg Marshall there. But it is unfortunate that he has parted ways. I think it was because of an incident of some sort. I haven't looked up on that, but yeah, they did part ways. Some other sad news: Ivy League canceled their winter sports. That is unfortunate for the Ivy League athletes there. What do you think about that? Canceling winter sports as a whole, all winter sports.
I don't think it's. I mean, kids want to play, obviously, especially if it's like their senior year of any year, like college, high school. You know, I think kids just want to play, and this whole thing, what's going on right now, is it sucks. It's real though. So it's hard. I think to base off an opinion that. I mean, I'm out of high school, and I would hate to be a senior in this time because everything's getting canceled. Everything that I would look forward to as a senior is getting canceled. So it's tough, and kids want to play. I feel for the high schoolers. I feel for the college students that are getting their games canceled and stuff. It's just hard.
Mm-hmm. And I was hearing this thing of somebody said they felt bad for like my class. I'm a junior. They felt bad for my class because this happened last year. Also, they like called off homecoming and stuff, and we might not have it this year. So like we're losing a bunch of high school experiences that is like main high school. I mean, think about our class. We didn't have homecoming or prom last year. We might not have it this year. School dances or anything like that. It's really a bummer for all high school and college students. And you feel for especially the athletes too, not being able to play. It's very unfortunate, but hopefully, I mean, at this time, it is what it is. You can't really control it. And it's just unpredictable at times, and it stinks. It really does. But hopefully, we'll get back to normal pretty soon. But you never know.
This isn't sports related, but they have come up with a pretty stable vaccine right now.
Mm-hmm.
That may help us through this winter and through the next year. I'd say even with the vaccine, we'd still have to wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we have a vaccine, at least testable, for this year. And if it doesn't work as great as it was hoped, then we keep trying. But we have to keep wearing a mask and have these mandates. And I don't know. People are saying that this whole COVID thing can go into 2022, and I can see that if this vaccine that they made doesn't pan out to help as many people thought, even if it did test well in the trials. So we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, it is very interesting there. NBA, the draft was last night. We saw some pretty big names go off the board there. And I saw this thing. If you don't know, Obi Toppin was drafted to the Knicks, and they panned in on him, and obviously he's emotional because he got drafted. But I immediately looked on Twitter, and they said Obi Toppin can't hide his emotions that he just got drafted to the worst franchise in NBA history. Um,
Come on now.
Yeah, it was quite foul, but I mean, I got a laugh out of that, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's funny. It's a tweet. It's funny, but when you ridicule like a team like that, and a team that's trying to get better, and they dropped probably a good player, that's just wrong, and that's uncalled for.
Mm-hmm. But obviously, the Knicks have been a laughing organization for the past how many years? But yeah, they are trying to get better. Do do I see them getting better? I mean, with this draft pick, it doesn't help like major at all, and with the Knicks, they can't get anybody in free agency. Nobody wants to go to the Knicks, which is a very serious problem because if you can't get any big free agents to come to your team, you're never going to get good. So, yeah, it is a pretty big one. Uh, Trades. Chris Paul went to the Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
That was a big trade.
Suns got better with that, yeah.
And Harden, I wanted to talk about this. James Harden.
I'll say this about Chris Paul going to the Suns. It'll take a lot of pressure off of Devin Booker.
Mm-hmm.
He won't get as many. I mean, like he won't have the pressure of like hitting the game-winning shot every day or every time. So I think getting Chris Paul, another veteran in there, or a veteran in there that can take the pressure off a young kid like Devin Booker is a good thing. And I think that Devin Booker and Chris Paul can work together and get in a rhythm early on in the season and start winning some games here.
Mm-hmm. I also want to talk about Kevin Durant. No, not Kevin Durant. What's his face? James Harden. Harden. I want to talk about him for a little bit. I've never seen more hate for an NBA team in my life. You want to talk about not wanting to be on a team? This man declined a offer by the Rockets that would have made him the biggest paid NBA player in NBA history. It was a $103 million contract for 2 years. He would have been getting $50 million for 1 year.
2 years that he already has left on his deal, so it's 4 years.
And he declined it. Now, with that, he made it so clear that he wants to be on the Nets. He made it so clear. What do you have to say?
I think with Harden loves Houston. Houston has a love-hate relationship with Harden. It depends on who you ask down in Texas or around the Houston fans around the world. But at the same time, I think there's some beef between the GM or the coach of the Houston Rockets and Harden. So that I think that relationship or those relationships between Harden and those two people have already been burned and can't be repaired, and he just wants out of Houston. And I think that Harden thinks that it's a toxic environment and relationship, and he just went out. Houston is already in talks of trading Westbrook too. So I think Houston has this idea of that. We can have these star players on our team, take Russell for like a year or two, and then just trade him away. Or we can trade our number one star player in James Harden and just completely tarnish our relationship with him, and then force him out by being toxic or rude or just straight out mean to him, to make him think that he doesn't want to be here anymore and he wants to move out or move on.
Yeah.
And that led him to decline this big deal that could have kept him as a Houston Rocket for life.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with the relationship between Harden and the Houston Rockets. That's my take on Harden and Houston. But we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
As sports fans, we don't know what that relationship is like. Only Harden and Houston know.
Yeah. I'm gonna move on to MLB now. Theo Epstein is stepping down as the Cubs president of baseball operations. As a Cubs fan, this was sad, but I think this was I think everyone could see this coming. He said he doesn't want to be in a rebuild, and with the Cubs, what they have to do in these next couple off seasons is going to be a big deal with Hobby, Contreras, Schwarber, Bryant. They're all going off their rookie years, and they're trying to look for big money, and that's going to be a hard thing to do. And Theo said he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, so he stepped down. But Theo, man, he gave us a good run. I mean, win the World Series. You can't do anything but to thank him. I watched the press conference of him saying his final goodbye, and I got emotional there, just because of how much he has done for the organization, for the Cubs. He turned it around, and yeah, you just have to give him props there. But yeah, now we go on to making history. Kim Ng makes history as the first female general manager in a North American sports league. She is the manager for the Miami Marlins. This was pretty cool to see, making history. What do you think about this historic news?
I think that this is a step in the right direction for diversity. I think back when this whole George Floyd thing popped up, and racial inequality or wanting equality in the workplace and in the world, the NFL and MLB were like, okay, we got to get diversity in here, and the NFL has kind of not done that in my eyes, or have like they declined a deal or something that would make that happen. But for the MLB, this is in the right direction. You're already seeing women. The coordinator, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers is a girl in the NFL. So there's some diversity there. But this is huge for sports, to have a female GM. I think it's really cool. I think it's really awesome.
Yeah. certainly is, and it's going to inspire a lot of people that anything is possible. Breaking those barriers is a step in the right direction for sure. Some NFL news: the Giants fired their offensive line coach. Apparently, there were rumors about a scuffle between coaches, but those rumors were not true. But the Giants did fire their O line coach. Um, and yeah, uh, that was that. Christian McCaffrey is not expected to play this week, being hurt. They came out with the news a couple days ago that he is not expected to play. And speaking about not expected to play, Drew Brees got hurt bad. Uh, Several broken ribs, a collapsed lung. Um, but yeah.
Which I think that he had 2 broken ribs in
the other week.
Last game.
Mm-hmm.
The last game that they played, I think against Tampa, and then he had 2 or 3 more broken ribs from that sack that he took on Sunday. So I don't know the timeline of the broken ribs, but yeah, man, Drew Brees is tough. He has. I think he's working with the same guy that he had with his thumb and his shoulder injury at the beginning of his career. So he has the best doctor working with him. So he'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Do you want to go on to picks?
Sure.
All right. First game is tonight's game, the Cardinals and the Seahawks.
I'd say Seattle because Seattle's lost, 2 in a row?
Yeah.
So I think this is a week that they bounce back from 2 losses.
Yeah. The next game we have is an easy one, Steelers and the Jags.
I hate picking the Steelers, but I have to.
Yep. This one is kind of an interesting one. Eagles and the Browns.
I say the Browns get better the past this week. I mean, the Houston game was just not a game at all.
Yeah. I have the Browns in this one too. Saints and the Falcons.
I don't trust Winston enough.
Really?
So I'll go Falcons.
Well, Drew Brees is out, but I still think the Saints are going to win. But yeah, it is a huge loss for the Saints having not Drew Brees on the field there. But yeah, Bengals in Washington.
Bengals.
I have the Bengals there too. What about the Lions and the Panthers? And McCaffrey is out.
I'll go Lions.
Yeah, I have the Lions there too. That is an interesting game there, but yeah, I have the Lions there. Titans and the Ravens.
Ravens.
I have the Titans here. That's going to be an interesting game, but I have the Titans for this game. That is going to be a fun game to watch too. I do believe. The Pats and the Texans.
Patriots.
Yeah, I have the Patriots there too. Texans aren't a good team, and the Patriots have Bill Belichick, and Cam Newton there. Dolphins and the Broncos.
Dolphins. The Broncos are just horrible this year.
Yeah.
When's that whole Drew Lock thing gonna be over?
I don't know, man. I heard. I don't know.
I don't think it's all on Drew Lock. I think it's the line. They gotta fix that line.
This game is an easy one for me. Jets and Chargers.
And Chargers.
Yep. What about this one? The Packers and the Colts.
Colts are at home. The defense is looking stronger than it was the first couple weeks. There have been reports that Davante Adams may not play. So, and we won't know until Sunday. So, right now, until I know Davante Adams is playing 100%, I'll go Colts on this one.
Yeah, it should be interesting if Adams does play. I have the Colts for now. But if Adams is a game time decision, that'll be interesting to see because Adams is a key factor for that Packers team. The Cowboys and the Vikings.
Vikings.
I have the Vikings here too. What about the Chiefs and the Raiders?
Chiefs.
Yep, Chiefs there. That's an easy one. And the last game, Rams and the Bucks.
Bucks.
I have the Bucks there too. So we kind of have the same picks there. But yeah, this was a fairly short pod. Well, actually, kind of a half hour. But yeah, is there anything else that we didn't go over?
Not that I can think of, no.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. Make sure you guys subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss any more videos. Make sure to leave a like on the video, and I'll see you all later. Peace.